Hey, Michelle, how's it going today?
Hi, Lindsay. I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. I'm so happy to be here for this bonus episode. Michelle, how would you describe your personality?
Ooh, I would say I'm a little bit quirky.
Uh huh.
I would say I love life and I love people. I don't know if
Yeah.
that counts as personality, but I think those qualities kind of bring out my personality. I'm enthusiastic.
Yep.
I'm a little nervous.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds right. All of that sounds right. People
Yeah,
are not simple, right? People are not simple. And this is one of the great things is describing who we are in the world is such a key skill for connection, don't you think?
yeah. What about you? I want to hear how
Oh
you
my
would describe
gosh.
yourself. You're not getting off the hook.
I'm not getting off the hook. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, I've always loved adventure. So I think I'm a pretty
Mhm.
adventurous person in every sense of the word, not just physical travel, but also adventure in the sense of taking on challenges. I can
Mhm.
be pretty intense, especially when I take on challenges and set goals for myself. Kind
Mm.
of tunnel vision. I have to achieve this. Yeah, I love life and I like to connect with people. I mean,
Yeah,
that's why our show is all about
true.
connection. We
That's
want to
true.
connect with you.
We couldn't do this if we didn't love people, I don't think.
Yes, 100%, and that magic moment of connection is what life is about, and I think that's why our listeners listen to All There's English too, because they know that as well. Yeah?
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
would you say that you're a Pollyanna?
No, I would say when I was younger, I might have been a bit more of a Pollyanna, right?
Mhm.
So maybe just, always kind of being super positive even when it's not doesn't make sense.
Mm.
Or just saying everything's gonna be great, it's gonna be fine, but you're maybe
Yeah,
ignoring certain key
right.
points. But not now. I think I've got a more balanced perspective at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Mhm.
today we are going to talk about vocabulary to describe your personality. And it's important to know who you are and to be able to express that to others in order to connect. So it's hard to answer that question. How would you describe your personality? Because it doesn't always work in that way. Oh, I'm gonna give you 3 words, and it's a little bit tricky because we're complicated people.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. It's
but we're
complicated. Sorry, go ahead, Michelle.
Yeah, no, complex, that's a good word for it. I mean,
Um,
when there's a lot that you could say to describe a personality, and we know that you may have some words memorized, but some of these words might be kind of typical or textbook, or you might not be sure how to use them. What do you think, Lindsay?
Exactly, Michelle. And what I love about the C1 level is it's such a fun place to be because this is where we learn to add nuance, color, and sophistication to our language. And we
Yeah.
get to learn these high level connection skills, describing your personality, using metaphors to describe a situation, really sophisticated things like that, that we're not ready quite yet until we reach C1. But when we're there, we get to learn these things, and that builds out your social network and your
Yeah,
connections, right? So this is one
absolutely.
of the many skills that you do build in our C1 course. Yeah.
Yes. And this is from module 4. And so this gives you a little bit of a taste of the
Yeah.
course. So something that we do spend some time on here in this course. And guys, hang out until the end of this episode because we have a special deal on our B2+C1 course bundle for 2025. So that's going to be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, it's available this week only, so you definitely want to stay in the episode to find out how to get the deal. But for now, let's go into some details. Now, in the C1 course, one of the native speakers, Michelle, in all of our courses, what we do is we interview native
Yeah.
speakers on
Yeah.
video, and our listeners get to come into those interviews, listen in on those conversations, and pick up things that they never would find in a textbook or a scripted role play. And
Right.
one of the people that I spoke with was Jay, and I believe that was where we heard the word Pollyanna, to be a Pollyanna. Yeah?
Yeah. So, and in this module of the course, we really focus on character traits, and
Yeah.
actually, you guys even take a personality quiz as a
Oh, yeah.
part of this, right?
Yeah.
So you get to learn a little bit about yourself, which will in turn help you express yourself to others and build those connections at this
Yeah, I
level.
mean, sometimes you have to know sometimes it can be hard to know what our personality really is. I mean, how do we really know compared to who, right? So
Right.
taking that quiz is kind of a first step to get some data about who we are, and then we learn how to describe it, which then deepens that connection. So What is a Pollyanna? Let's get to what
Yeah.
our listeners are thinking. What is this? What
Well, yes. Well, this comes from because Pollyanna was a book, right,
Eh,
Lindsay?
yes,
About a girl who always looked on the bright side,
yes.
but almost in kind of this like naive
Night.
way. Almost, it's almost too much. So, sometimes somebody might. So, an example would be, I tend to be a Pollyanna when it comes to the weather. That means sometimes I'm not prepared.
Actually, I kind of am that way when it comes
Me too.
I'm never
Oh,
prepared. Oh my gosh.
I never have an umbrella ever.
An umbrella or exhibit A for me is I'm currently recording from the mountains right now where it's negative 13 degrees outside. And I
Uh,
didn't do it this time. I did come with sweaters and socks and things. But when we come up here in the summer, it'll be 95 and sunny in Denver. And I'll be in my cutoff shorts and no socks and thinking it'll be great in the mountains. I get to the mountains, it's 55 degrees.
right, not prepared. Uh-oh. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, recently, we went to explore an area of Philadelphia with my kids, and it was one of the coldest days, and it was a little bit of a drive, and we get there, and we're getting out of the car, and we realized neither of the kids had their coats.
Oh, yeah. It's just kind of funny because you just don't imagine it. It feels great where you are. You're going somewhere new.
Right.
It's gonna be the same. It's gonna be the same. It's gonna be
Right.
fine.
Right.
That's a little bit
Exactly.
that can be and usually Pollyanna is used more around, yeah, overall worldview, right?
Right. But
Not
this is
so
just kind of a
yeah,
daily like a funny
yeah.
way a funny play on how you could use.
Yeah, but I think naivete is definitely the word there, right?
Yeah.
Someone that kinda looks and, it's nice, right? Because it just means maybe you haven't encountered challenges that would change that perspective, maybe, for example, or maybe you've gotten through those challenges and you've come out on the other end with a really kinda rosy perspective on life, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So another one that we go over is make lemonade out of lemons.
Yes.
Okay. So we've talked about this a little bit before, but basically this is making something sweet out of something sour. So kind of like a Pollyanna. What do you think, Lindsay?
100%. And I think this also came out of my interview with Jay, and this is the connection method right here. So what we do in these interviews in our courses is we take what our native speaker friends say, and we put that vocabulary right into the course, the grammar structures, the vocab. So we're learning the real English with the connection method. But
Absolutely.
yeah, this he did say this in the conversation, talking about resourcefulness. We were talking about our parents actually, and how we're
Okay.
like our parents. How are you
Yeah.
like your mom? How are you like your dad?
Oh, yeah.
Um, Also a very interesting question.
That is interesting. That is definitely interesting. Yeah, so my mom always tries to make lemonade out of lemons. She's really the most optimistic person I know.
So good. And then anxiety prone. I think Jay said that I think he said his dad, if I remember correctly. You got to get in the course to find out, but
Yep.
anxiety prone. I tend to be a bit anxiety prone. I wish I knew how to let those thoughts go. Yes, that's normal. That's human, right?
Yes. Lindsay, which one of these do you identify most with?
Oh my god, but it's so funny when I was talking with Jay, I thought, yeah, I'm also a combination of my mom and my dad. It was the exact opposite of Jay. So my mom is more anxiety prone, right? And
Mhm.
my dad is the one who makes, lemons out of lemonade. He started his lemonade out of lemons. He started his business. So I find that most people are usually kind of a perfect balance of the two. It's weird. It's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is true. It is true. So let's give a few more. We also have strong-willed. These are
Mm,
just additional ones, not necessarily from the course, but
yeah.
so
Mhm.
and this is true. My 2-year-old is very strong-willed. I think it's a great quality, but oh man, is
That's
it tough.
true, isn't it, about your 2-year-old? Yeah?
I
Is
mean,
that
all 2-year-olds are, I think. We were just talking with her teacher about this. Yeah, she is too, and she's strong-willed, but it's interesting as a parent because you don't wanna totally quiet that, right? You don't wanna just
Yes.
make her then be completely obedient. I read, like, they say parents, it's not good to then just make your kids obedient because you
Sure, of
also want them to
course.
speak out and be, interesting
They need
people as
those
they grow up.
skills.
So it's a
Well, and
balance.
and it's also cultural, right? I mean, in American culture, at this moment in time, in 2025, this sort of pushing back is valued, right? Speaking
Mhm.
out, voicing your opinion,
Mhm.
being assertive is very valued in our culture, and it might be different around the world. So those lessons we learn, I always think how cultural they are. what our
Yeah.
teachers say, how our kids should
Yeah.
be. It's incredibly cultural.
Very
It's incredible. Yeah.
interesting.
It's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's another, word we can use?
Yeah, a pushover. So, going in the direction of being overly obedient or
Yeah.
kind of docile, kind of, I can be a pushover, but I'm working on it, right? Meaning
Mhm.
you just do what people want you to do, kind of. Sort of. We've also
Mhm.
used on the podcast, we've used the phrase a doormat, to be a doormat. I think Aubrey and I did an
Mhm.
episode about that term.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a good one. Yeah, I can be a pushover with my kids because
oh,
sometimes I
yeah. Yeah.
just Dan is not a pushover. I'm the pushover, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
I guess when you raise kids, you need one person, at least one person to be kind of the
Right.
tough one and disciplinarian. I
Yeah,
just spent a
nice.
weekend with my niece and I witnessed that too. I mean, she's almost 11,
Yeah,
but every moment of the day, her parents are having to choose, right? When she asks
yeah.
for something,
Oh.
she tries to push the limits and test them, right?
Yep. Oh,
You
yeah,
know.
testing. There's a lot of testing. So, and then there's the word graceful I wanted to throw in.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
graceful is such a sweet word.
it's nice. She's always been graceful whenever we've interacted. So I know you'll love her too. I like that
Yeah.
one. I actually like that to describe personality. The typical way to use that is to describe a physical
How
presence,
they move
like a
around.
figure
Yeah.
skater. I just watched The Cutting Edge
Right.
over the weekend. Have you seen that one, Michelle? The Cutting
Mm-mm.
Edge?
No.
You
Should I?
haven't seen The Cutting Okay, what is going on? It's such an icon for millennial I think it's an icon for older millennials, The Cutting Edge
The
from the
cutting edge.
'90s, early
Okay.
'90s. Yeah, it's
Okay.
fantastic. Go watch it right now.
Okay. All right. I'm looking it up right now. Okay.
Yeah. So anyways, typically it's used to describe physical grace, right? Or gracefulness. But here we're talking about personality, which is much more interesting. And that's actually a goal of our B2 course to become more interesting in your
Yeah.
conversation. So between becoming more sophisticated in C1 and becoming more interested in B2, these are the goals, right?
Yeah.
This is what you get in these two key courses for the level of our listeners.
Exactly. And with this bundle, we're really excited about it because this is going to help you guys get to the next level in your English. So
Mhm.
this is not just knowing and understanding the words, but getting more confident actually using them.
Exactly.
So we have this B2C1 bundle that we're really excited to offer. Lindsay, you want to tell us about it?
Yeah, this is great. So this is how you can get set up for success in
Yeah.
2025. Maybe during our Black Friday offer you missed that bundle, but this is your second chance. You have another chance. So this is the B2 plus the C1 courses combined together into a bundle. Everything you'll need for this coming year to reach and surpass the C1 level. All right? So you're going to save when you buy them together at this moment during this promotion. At this time, you can save up to $100 on the basic plan and you can save $200 on the personal coach plan.
Hmm.
But this offer to buy these two as a bundle does end February 2nd at midnight. And after that, Michelle, what will happen?
Well, then you would have to buy them separately, and then so you're paying more essentially. So this is going to help you save up to $200 when you buy before February 2nd at midnight.
Exactly. So if you know you're headed in the direction of
Right.
C1 and past C1 this year, you know you want to set the goal or you're ready to commit. Sometimes just taking the action of purchasing the course is what
Right.
you need to mentally flip into this is my year to do this. So
Yeah.
might as well go ahead and get them together now this week. So go to allearsenglish.com/bundle. That's allearsenglish.com/bundle. All right.
Nice. All right. Great opportunity. So should we do a role play?
Oh, yeah, we do have a role play. Excellent. Let's do it,
We
Michelle. All
do.
right.
All right. So
Mhm.
we are old friends talking about our old teachers.
Okay, here we go. Yes.
Okay. I ran into Mrs. Rader yesterday.
Oh, wow. She was an awesome teacher.
Yeah, she always made lemonade out of lemons,
Definitely. Such a Pollyanna.
unlike Mr. J.
Yeah, he was pretty strong willed.
Absolutely. I'm anxiety prone, but he made me even more anxious.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. Remember Miss Triat?
Oh, yes. Of course, she was so graceful.
Yeah, a bit of a pushover, too.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we
That's
got a lot
funny.
of
I
personality.
used J, not thinking about the J
That
you
is
spoke
weird.
about.
That
Isn't
is
that
really
funny?
weird.
Yeah.
Interesting. Great. All right. Well, here we've got used a lot of what we've talked about today to make our speech more interesting at the B2 level. So
Mhm.
you said, "Oh, do you remember this teacher, Miss Rader?" And I said, "Yeah, she always made lemonade out of lemons." Right?
Mhm. And then you said, definitely such a Pollyanna.
And then you said, unlike Mr. J. And then I said, yeah, he was pretty strong-willed. Yeah.
Yep. And then I said, absolutely. I'm anxiety prone, but he made me even more anxious.
And then you said, "Oh, yes, of course. Mrs. Triot, she was so graceful." Graceful.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then you said, yeah, a bit of a pushover too.
Yeah,
Do
and uh-huh.
yeah.
Again, coming back to the use of graceful, interestingly here, not to describe I don't think we're describing the physical nature of the teacher,
No.
the way they moved. No, it was more about the way she acted with people. And
Mhm.
like I said, I love that way of describing people. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it is nice. It is
Yeah.
nice. I hope you liked all the names I made up today.
I know, you're good at getting those names,
I just
Michelle.
try sometimes I put in a letter and then I think, "Okay, what would go next?" I don't know.
Yeah.
I wanna make
I
up
haven't
some original names.
I know, I haven't seen Stacy and Tracy in a while, so we'll see
I
if they
know.
come back and
I know.
visit us another time.
Maybe they'll come back one day.
Maybe they'll come back.
Anyway, so
Alright.
these are really good, guys. I mean, the takeaway for today, I think, is it's important to be able to know who you are and describe yourself and also describe others. I mean, this builds connection to be able to describe who you are and express that to other people.
100%. And this is what you do. Just for a recap, in our B2 course, we become more interesting in conversation. So you add, you become more interesting because you learn new vocabulary, new ways of connecting in that conversation scenario. And then when we move up to C1, we become more nuanced, more sophisticated, doing things like using metaphors, describing your personality to really solidify those connections. So that is the journey, over the next year that you could go through if you join us in the bundle, guys. So go over to allearsenglish.com/bundle, but don't forget the offer does expire. Michelle, when does it expire?
February 2nd at midnight.
Yeah, so take action now. All right, good stuff, Michelle. Thanks for bringing in these great ideas for us today.
Thank you. This was fun. And guys, remember that's bundle Bundle.
You got it. All right, I'll talk to you soon, Michelle. Have a good
All
day.
right. Thanks, you too. Bye.
Bye.